The mop slipped from Jonathan's hands when he heard the terrified voice. "Please help me. They hurt my mom." The little girl's words shattered the silence of the 40th floor. It was almost midnight in the glass towers of the Grand Plaza. Everyone had gone home. Everyone except the janitor and the CEO's daughter. Before we go deeper into this gripping story of courage and justice, make sure to subscribe for more real, emotional, and life-changing stories like this one. You don't want to miss what's about to happen next. Jonathan Williams, 34 years old, a man who moved like a shadow, was mopping the floor under the pale fluorescent lights when Sophie Blackwood, just 7, came running out of the president's office, crying. Her pink dress was wrinkled, her tiny hands shaking as she clutched his gray uniform. "They hit my mom. She's dying." Jonathan's instincts snapped awake. He wasn't just a janitor. He was a soldier in disguise. But no one in this building knew that. They only saw a silent man with a mop and kind eyes, invisible among suits and power. He crouched beside Sophie. "Where's your mom, sweetheart?" She pointed with trembling fingers toward the double-glass doors at the end of the hall. Behind them came the muffled thud of fists and a woman's desperate cries. Jonathan didn't hesitate. "Hide in that closet," he ordered gently. "Don't come out until I come back." As the doors burst open, the scene inside froze his blood. 3 men in suits were beating Rachel Blackwood, the CEO of one of the nation's largest tech firms. Her hair was disheveled, blood streaking her lip, her eyes wild with fear. "Hey!" Jonathan's voice boomed like thunder. The attackers turned, sneering. "Look, the janitor wants to play hero," one laughed, flashing a gun. Jonathan's eyes narrowed. His muscles moved before thought. 3 seconds. That's all it took. 3 precise, ruthless moves. And all 3 men were unconscious. Rachel gasped, trembling. Who are you?" Jonathan knelt beside her, checking her pulse. "Just a janitor who happened to be here at the right time." Minutes later, sirens wailed. But when the police arrived, the hero they found didn't fit their expectations. Instead of gratitude, Jonathan faced suspicion. "You were alone with her when we arrived," the detective said coldly. "How do we know you weren't part of this?" Rachel tried to explain, but Jonathan had seen those looks before, the look that judged him before hearing him. Calmly, he answered their sharp questions. His composure only made them angrier. They didn't see a hero. They saw a suspect. 3 hours later, he sat in a gray interrogation room, the clock ticking like a slow drumbeat. "Why were you standing in front of her office for 15 minutes? One detective demanded. Jonathan raised his eyes. "Because I was working, and because I noticed something wrong. That's my job, to notice." They sneered. But when he mentioned a black van without plates parked outside minutes before the attack, they went silent. "Check the security cameras," he said quietly. "You'll see those same men thrown into the van unconscious minutes later." Their silence was answer enough. The door opened, and a woman in a sharp suit entered. "I'm Amanda Foster, attorney for Mr. Williams," she said firmly. "This interrogation is over." As she escorted him out, she whispered, "Captain Jonathan Williams, U.S. Army Special Forces. 3 tours in Afghanistan. Medal of Honor. You've been hiding in plain sight, haven't you?" Jonathan stopped stunned. "How do you know that?" "Because someone powerful wants you gone," she said. "And we need to talk about why." Across town, Vincent Sterling poured himself a $1,000 whiskey. His face reflected in the glass walls of his penthouse. "So," he said coldly to his lawyer, "is the problem solved?" "Not exactly," came the reply. "Blackwood survived, and the janitor interfered. But sir, he's no ordinary janitor. He took down 3 trained men." Vincent's smile vanished. "Find out who he is." Meanwhile, Jonathan sat in Amanda's small office as she spread out photos and documents. "Vincent Sterling," she said, tapping the name. "CEO of Sterling Corporation. Ruthless. Untouchable. For 15 years, he's used intimidation, bribes, and violence to force mergers. Rachel was his latest target. Jonathan's jaw tightened. How many victims? 16, she said. That we can prove. Jonathan looked at the faces of those who had died, those silenced by power. Then it's time someone fought back. The next morning, Rachel woke up in a private hospital. Her body ached, but her mind burned. A call from her doctor confirmed what she suspected. She'd been drugged with Rohypnol before the attack. This wasn't random. It was planned. At that moment, she realized who had ordered it. Vincent Sterling. While Vincent was trying to erase Jonathan, Jonathan was planning his downfall. We'll need evidence, Amanda said. And protection for Rachel and her daughter. I can handle both, Jonathan replied. I have friends, former Rangers, all trustworthy. That night, Vincent thought he was safe behind his army of lawyers. But across the city, a different kind of army was assembling. Men who had fought beside Jonathan in Afghanistan. Silent, loyal, invisible. Vincent Sterling had just declared war on the wrong man. If this story has captured your heart so far, make sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss the storm that's about to hit the corrupt billionaire who underestimated a janitor. By dawn, Jonathan was already in motion. His small team began gathering evidence. Wiretaps, surveillance, digital records. The walls around Sterling's empire were closing in. Rachel returned to her office under protection. When Jonathan arrived, no longer wearing a janitor's uniform but a tailored suit, she smiled through her bruises. I want to hire you, she said. Not as a janitor, as my head of security. Before Jonathan could answer, the phone rang. Vincent Sterling's voice slithered through the speaker. Rachel, I heard about the unfortunate incident. Such a shame. Perhaps it's time you reconsider my merger offer. Rachel's eyes burned. Your men tried to kill me, Vincent. Then his tone turned icy. Careful, Rachel. Words like that can destroy careers. And as for your new friend, tell your janitor to stay out of business, he can't comprehend. The line went dead. Jonathan looked at Rachel. That's a threat, and a recorded one. We can use this. Meanwhile, Vincent was unraveling. His investigators found nothing to blackmail Jonathan. No crimes. No weaknesses. There are no saints, he shouted, smashing his glass. But there was one thing Vincent never understood. Real strength doesn't leave a paper trail. It lives in integrity. Days later, Jonathan's surveillance team intercepted calls, collected financial records, and tracked Vincent's orders. Amanda prepared everything for release. Are you ready? She asked. Jonathan nodded. Let's bring him down. That night, while Vincent drank and boasted in his skyscraper, Jonathan's team sent encrypted files to every major news outlet in the country. By sunrise, the world would know who Vincent Sterling truly was. At 9:15 a.m., Vincent stormed into his office, only to find his secretary pale and trembling. Sir, she stammered. The media, they have recordings. Minutes later, Channel 7 called live. Mr. Sterling, would you like to comment on the audio where you order an attack on CEO Rachel Blackwood? His hand froze on the receiver. That's impossible. Within hours, the FBI arrived. Cameras swarmed. Agents stormed his office, reading his rights as the world watched him handcuffed and humiliated. Jonathan and Amanda watched from a cafe nearby, Rachel on the phone in tears of relief. They got him, she whispered. He's finished. The empire of lies had fallen. And the janitor no one respected became the man who restored justice. Months later, Jonathan walked the same halls of the corporate plaza, not with a mop but a briefcase. His name now engraved on a gold plaque, Director of Security and Worker Protection. Employees greeted him with pride. Sophie ran to hug him. Uncle Jonathan, Mommy says you're a hero. He smiled. Heroes are just people who do what's right when it matters most. Meanwhile, in a federal prison, Vincent Sterling, once a billionaire, now swept the floor of the library in an orange uniform. The same job he once mocked. His final punishment was poetic. Jonathan's voice echoed on national TV. Power isn't about money or titles. It's about protecting others with dignity. If you believe in justice, courage, and humanity over arrogance, make sure you're subscribed, because more stories like this remind us that no one is ever truly invisible.